TV Spotlight. Soap. Soap is the name of an American comedy series that ran for 4 seasons from 1977 to 1981. The series was a spoof of the daytime soap opera genre and focused on 2 families, the well-to-do Tate family and the more working-class Campbell family, linked by the fact that the 2 families' matriarchs, the flighty and eccentric Jessica Tate and the more grounded down-to-earth Mary Campbell, are sisters. The Tate family consists of Jessica as well as her husband Chester, a sleazy businessman who regularly cheats on his wife and is involved in dubious business practices. They have 3 children, Eunice, Corinne, and Billy. Eunice is a judgmental prude who hides some rather scandalous secrets, while Corinne is ostensibly the wild child who has her own reasons for her behavior. Teenage Billy is the youngest, and often seen as the most normal person in the family. The Tates also play host to Jessica and Mary's father, known simply as the Major, a World War II veteran who believes the war is still going on and acts accordingly. Rounding out the Tate household is the family's butler, Benson, who thinks the lot of them are completely round the twist but is nonetheless devoted to them, particularly Jessica and Billy, even if he doesn't even bother to hide his contempt for Chester. On the Campbell side of the family is Mary's second husband Bert, a down-to-earth construction worker who has secrets of his own. Mary's 2 adult children from her first marriage are Jody and Danny Dallas. Jody is an initially closeted homosexual who pretty much everyone knows or suspects is gay anyway, while Danny is actively involved with the mafia. This setup is soon joined by 1, or perhaps 2, new regular characters early in the first season in the form of one of Bert's adult sons from his first marriage, Chuck Campbell, and his ventriloquist dummy, Bob. Chuck doesn't just make his living from Bob, he actually appears to believe that Bob is a real, independent person and insists that everyone else treats him as such too. Bob, of course, is a mouthy, shit-stirring asshole that can be guaranteed to say the wrong thing at the exact wrong time. Chuck and Bob were actually only intended to be guest characters for a couple of episodes, but received such an uproarious and instantaneous response from the audience that they were quickly made part of the core cast. And that cast is spectacular, not only as brilliant with the comedy as you would hope and expect, but terrific enough to make their characters lovable and believable enough for the audience to empathize with and root for them no matter how crazy the storylines get. And boy do they get crazy, including a major character being abducted by aliens and replaced by an identical alien doppelganger, and a newborn baby being possessed by the devil himself. Soap was massively controversial and massively influential, featuring the first gay character on primetime US television, although much of the initial controversy died down relatively quickly. Though ironically Soap is probably now just as politically incorrect as it was then, if not more so. The show made a star out of the likes of Billy Crystal and Robert Gillane, whose sardonic character of Benson was given his own spin-off series. I discovered Soap at some point in the early to mid-80s, during the repeat run on British TV network Channel 4. I fell in love with it immediately and it became one of the primary TV obsessions of my childhood along with the likes of The Little Vampire and Robin of Sherwood. I remember being so obsessed by the whodunit plot that plays out later in Season 1 and early Season 2 that I filled a textbook with some elaborate strategy for working out who the murderer actually was. Despite the fact that, looking back, this strategy made no fucking sense whatsoever, I somehow managed to get it exactly right anyway. For the longest time all I had of the series was a best of VHS tape that had just 3 episodes on it, which I bought around 1990. Fortunately in the mid to late 2000s I was able to buy the entire series on DVD from the US and it has remained part of my regular viewing experience ever since. I love this show, even if I will admit that the 4th and final season fails to live up to the standard of the first 3, almost certainly because of the long absence of series creator and writer Susan Harris. Soap remains a timeless classic in my house, and one of my top 10 TV shows of all time, comedy or otherwise. I can only recommend anyone who hasn't seen it to seek it out immediately. It's comedy gold.